What's up, it's Walker here with Ringside Intel, and I know I'm a little bit late. I'm out here traveling and had some power outages where I'm staying right now, but we're back online, so I gotta give you guys UFC 305 matchmaking. Now, typically I just talk about the main card winners, but I'd like to take this opportunity to sort of deviate on the format a little bit, because I think there are some people who lost that can be paired in very interesting fights, and some of the winners, I don't think it really matters or is worth a lot of discussion about where they fight next, because in a lot of ways, considering the direction that the UFC is moving in as far as sort of filling in the bottom of the cards and making them look more like a traditional boxing card, I don't think it matters so much. So let's just jump right into it. Dricus Du Plessis, he defended his middleweight title against former champion Israel Adesanya. We know what's going to happen next with DDP. Dana White was very clear that the rematch with Sean Strickland is next. As much as I'm not a fan of that fight, it's sort of the most sensible thing right now, because the middleweight division doesn't have a clear number one contender outside of Strickland, and we're talking about a recent former champ who lost his belt in a close fight to DDP, and on top of that, he's gotten a win since. So he's done more than, say, like a Stipe Miocic did to win his belts back from Daniel Cormier. So I think we got to give Strickland credit on that, and this seems to be the fight to make, because I think we don't really have any other options that make any sense. Now, as far as Israel Adesanya, that's where things get a little more interesting. With Adesanya, you don't really have a lot of sort of the legacy names on the roster still that make a lot of sense. I mean, this would be a great time if we still had a Luke Rockhold fighting, especially now that we see Rockhold out here competing actively outside of the UFC. Without that, maybe we should turn to the more traditional style of matchmaking, and Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev are fighting next. Maybe give Izzy the loser of that. We know Whittaker would love to run it back with Izzy if he were to not get past Chimaev, and Chimaev versus Izzy is a fight that we talked about for a couple years now, so maybe this opens the door for that. So either way, those are big fights that can headline a fight night card or co-main a pay-per-view, and we're down. Now, Kai Kara France, I think it's simple. Give the man the title shot. I understand if you want to go Amir Albazi. I totally understand that. But that win over Irsek was just so definitive. It's very difficult to put that split decision, a very debatable split decision that Albazi won over KKF ahead. So give France that title shot. Now for Steve Irsek, he's hit this point where you just had a title shot. You just fought one of the top contenders in the division. He's clearly someone who can fight on this level, as the title shot showed. You can't go too far backwards now. I'd like to see him fight either Brandon Moreno or Alex Perez, preferably Alex Perez. I would even be cool with Monel Kopp. That doesn't sound like a bad idea to me either, but I'm feeling Alex Perez. I think from a style perspective, that too could be a very interesting fight. Dan Hooker had a great upset win against Mateus Gamrot. I'm feeling Dan Hooker versus Charles Oliveira. Maybe it's the blonde dyed hair, maybe it's the new tats, but these two together just feel like a great fight, and also a fight that makes a lot of sense as far as the championship hierarchy is concerned. Now we got to talk about Carlos Prates. A great fight against Jingliang Li. And I think now we need to see Prates step up big in competition. He is certainly one of the more tenured welterweights out there, and he's had a great list of competition throughout his career. Fantastic resume on his part. But we can't ignore the fact that he was out of a competition for nearly 2 years with a major injury. Let's give him another established name that has been more active. Now, if Neil Magny gets past Morales, that is perfect. Neil Magny will make a perfect opponent for Prates. But if you really want to go for that action matchup that's going to have a lot of relevance in the fringes of the contendership, I say Randy Brown. That fight sounds amazing. So that would do it for the matches I want to see following UFC 305. So drop it in the comments and tell me what fights you'd like to see for any fighters on the card, main cards, prelims, winners, losers, doesn't matter. I'd love to hear your opinions. Remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell that friend to tell 10 more friends. Stay locked in the Ringside Intel. I'm Walker. Peace.